Greetings everybody, welcome back to the Archangel 15. I wanted to change things up a little bit and bring you actually one of my favorite recipes. I've talked about borscht and red beets in the past in my suppressed medical science videos. I figured I'd go ahead and actually give you my recipe. I came across this when I actually went to Ukraine in 2019, my motherland. I visited Kiev, that's where I had my first bowl actually. Chernobyl, I went later on. I'm going to post a video about that at some point in time. And then also Odessa Beach. Odessa, very, very amazing, special place there too. I bought this cookbook in another trip in 2019 to St. Petersburg, Russia. It's kind of cool. It's all in Russian. It translates stuff. Depending on what kind of feedback I get from this, I may decide to post some more recipe videos in the future. Just as a side note, Ukraine, many of you may or may not know, used to be part of Russia along with many other former Soviet republics. It's basically the old world of the Soviet Empire. The Kiev Monastery, amazing, beautiful place, golden domes, just like many other Slavic cathedrals. And it dates back to 1060. It's older than any of the cathedrals in Moscow, pretty much any other places in Russia. And also it's older than the Vatican and the Notre Dame. Two pictures here. This is a cathedral in Moscow, in Kiev, sorry. Like I said, it dates back to 1060. Really, really cool artwork there. Kind of like Gothic. Really, really interesting. If you ever get a chance to check that out. This is the Motherland statue. There's a museum underneath and really interesting stuff, phenomenon in there. It's called the White Room. They have a room of all these pictures of people that were basically killed in the Holocaust. And this is me on Odessa Beach. Good times, I might add. I will post the pictures and all the ingredients as well. Remember, the primary ingredient in this is red beets. You don't want any of the other ingredients to outweigh the significance of that. Some people call it beetroot soup. Borscht is really what it refers to. It's like hamburgers in Russia and Ukraine, like really, really big. There's this big debate as to who owns the rights to it, Russia or Ukraine. But like I said, once again, Russia and Ukraine are the same. I'm not going to actually cook everything. I'm just going to go through kind of a general, simple recipe here. Know the health benefits of borscht. I'm going to post a link to the benefits of nitric oxide boosters, which you incur when you eat the red beets. I've talked in the past about this, the colors associated with the medical aspects of things, and just that beet dark red color between almost between the beginning of the color spectrum and the end, red and purple. Sometimes it's almost like black. It's probably the best thing that you can eat for kidneys, high blood pressure. People would take it for erectile dysfunction. It supplements your workout routine. It helps your muscles recover if you work out a lot. After about 30 minutes of eating it, I notice a difference. Almost flushes your body as well. Okay, enough about that. Moving along here. Like I said, I'm going to post the pictures, the ingredients, and more as well. So you kind of back things up. So here's the ingredients all cut up. Your good old beets. I usually use, I don't know what store you go to or how you buy them. Sometimes they come in bunches. Sometimes they come by the pound. But all beets are different. Some people might grow them in their own garden. I've found it's better to use more beets than less. Like I said, definitely you want to have plenty of beets. Carrots, very, very sweet. Another thing I might add as well, I never in a million years thought that this would be something that I would eat to enjoy. Most of you are probably saying, ooh, beets, they're nasty, they're not good. But all the flavors of this coalesce together to create this sweetness. And the second day is when it's really, really good. So cut up all your beets really, really fine. Get your hands really, really red, so know that. Either one big onion or two small onions. Definitely want good onions. I only use like one medium-sized potato. I made a mistake in the past by adding like too much potatoes, and the potatoes suck up the beet juice and like basically fight with the beets for flavor. They don't really have the sweetness as the celery, the carrots, and the cabbage. Either one small head of cabbage, or like half a head of a big head, or like, you know, like if it's bigger, cut it in half. The meats, you can pretty, like in Ukraine, they use pretty much whatever they had. I usually like to have one with a soup bone. This time I don't have one. Typically I use about a 1.25 pound to about 1.5 pounds. You don't want too much meat, you don't want too little. You wait until it's pretty much all cooked, and then you take this out, and then you'll cut it up into smaller pieces, however you like to do there. Kind of cool into the symbolism of the cabbage. Once again, I get my water from a well. Another trick I'm going to tell you is do not add too much water. You can always put more water in later, but if you put too much in the first time, it'll dilute it and it won't taste good. So please know that. So what you do, you take your meat, you put it inside your pot, and you start to brown it. And you basically brown it on all sides. Then you take your onions, your chopped up onions, and then you put that in, let them saute for a little while, not long, and add in your celery, or put some water in, and then add in the rest of your celery, your carrots, your potatoes, and of course your beets. After about, say, 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes of cooking, you'll see that it'll start to have like fat and foam, scum at the top. I guess some people could leave it in, but you don't typically want to. Scrape that off, and I usually discard it. Yes, definitely make sure you don't forget that. I made that mistake as well. And if you stir it up with the foam, you only get really one chance to get it off. So I mentioned, the celery. I use about 3/4 of a bunch, half to 3/4 of a bunch of celery. Like I said, depends on what you get. 4 to 6 large carrots, or like if you have like a one bag of like the baby carrots, you could use that cut up as well. And I told you about the cabbage and the beets. I'd say it's about 1.5 to 2 pounds of beets. I don't think you can go wrong by putting too much in. Just make sure you dice them up really nice. And they're like the hardest thing to cook. Like they take the longest. Definitely more of the beets is better. And like I said, the potato, 1 medium potato or 2 small potatoes. You could go 1 large, but no more than that. After it cooks for a little while, like I said, you get the scum off, and then after that, then you can season it with your salt and your pepper. Then after that, you want to let it just cook. The total preparation and cook time for this recipe is about 2.5, 3 hours, I'd say. I'd say closer to like 2.5. The longest amount of time it takes to cut everything up. So definitely prepare for that. And most important thing of all that I could not forget to mention here is about the sour cream. All Russian soups are always served with sour cream on the top. So like after you have this, it'll look nice and red, and you put like 2 or 3 tablespoons, however much you want, of sour cream, and it melts into it and like makes this like milky flavor. It changes the whole dynamics and the whole dimensions of the recipe. It's a must-have, in my opinion. Like pretty much all Russian soups always come with that. As far as the water, I'd say I use about 1/2 gallon. I'm not a big fan of using bouillon. I've used it in the past. I prefer to keep less water and kind of make my own stock as far as that goes. In the future, perhaps I will show you other recipes. My mother has a lot of them. I have some that I've kind of evolved on my own. Kapustas, like cabbage soup. Between New Year or Christmas and New Year's, I have a little tradition. I'm starting with making solyanka. There are a lot more ingredients to solyanka. Maybe I'll get into that. Amazing there. Varenke, which is like pierogi. I have blinis, which is like little pancakes with raspberry varenye. Really, really good little. You can use it like as a dessert or breakfast. And then I have some cabbage left over here. I may show you my little cabbage and snow peas with carrots recipe. It's kind of like more of like an Asian theme recipe there. But thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy this. Just trying to change it up a little bit. And I can't begin to tell you how good this is for you. Take care, folks.